The last 2 to 3 years have had indeed some challenges thrown at us with the pandemic, with the supply constraints, especially semiconductors, and now the energy challenge that we have primarily in Europe as a consequence of the war in Ukraine. So we have, in a very steadfast way, implemented our strategy towards EVs, towards digitization, have robust financial performance.
And the auto industry is obviously energy intensive. What are you doing to try and safeguard Mercedes' supply chains following the fallout of the war in Ukraine, here in Europe in particular?
So in the short term, this is mainly a European and German challenge, and it is the dependency on natural gas that we have been looking at. And we have now taken measures that we can reduce our demand for natural gas as an energy source by at least 50% for Mercedes, while keeping operations fully operational. So the mid to long-term strategy is decarbonization.
Just how worrying is this rise in tension when it comes to semiconductors between the world's two largest economies, and how is it impacting your production?
And we're sitting on an unusually high order backlog because we've had good demand but have been constrained by the semiconductor situation. And we have been working with the chip makers, with the wafer fabs, to see now how can we solve this structural challenge. And a lot of investment is going in. There is some lead time, obviously, to that investment. So the semiconductor shortages will definitely be with us throughout this year, and they will also bleed into next year.
And is there much pressure that a company like Mercedes feels in order to source its semiconductors? Because you have this geopolitical rivalry affecting the markets at the moment. As a German company, a European firm with production centers in China, do you feel some of that pressure?
We can see that there have been moves by the United States, also in Europe, to create more semiconductor production also locally in those regions. It's something that we welcome. But let's not forget, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of chips in a vehicle like this. So to believe that we're going to regionalize and decouple from any global dependencies, I think that's an illusion. But I think cooperation is the best way forward for economic growth.
Let's talk about China then. How important is it for your future plans, and how worried are you about an economic slowdown there?
I like to say that China is a home away from home. What started as a growing market some 15, 20 years ago, and it was more about being present in the market and capturing the market, has grown into a 360-degree play. I mean, we have massively, with our joint venture partner, built up our production footprint. We are building our R&D capabilities in the Chinese market. We quite recently opened a whole new R&D tech center in Beijing. We're building another R&D digital hub in Shanghai for intelligent connected vehicle. So we're increasing our footprint in China for China, but also in China for the world. So we intend to keep on investing and taking opportunity.